Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gridiron 2021. Dr. Ron Poniewasz, joined as always by Professor Larry Kelly. We have quite a bit of information for you this week. Mr. Kelly, sir, good to see you. Welcome back.
Oh, always good to be seen. Thank you for having me. You know, you call me the professor, but I am the professor of what? What am I the professor of?
You're supposed to be schooling us on football knowledge, but as I'm being told by a lot of people, what does he know about football?
Well, I'm asking you, how am I doing? I mean, if you had to give me a grade on my football knowledge, how am I doing? You want to give me a grade?
Do I still have free legal representation after the grade?
Absolutely. Listen, the bottom line is, how are my picks at the end of the day? If we kept score on my picks, I'm a 90% guy. I only miss about one game a week. So either I'm the luckiest guy in the world or I know a little bit about football. But trust me, it's not rocket science, this football. You know what I mean? If you block, if you tackle, if you can run faster than the other guy, you're probably going to win more games than not.
Okay.
It's not rocket science.
All right. Well, in any event, we have quite an athlete of the week this week. This is Happy Larry Kelly week as we close out Larry's favorite month, favorite time of the year, Doctober. Larry loves to celebrate Doctober. So we're heavy on Newcastle this week. We'll have the Red Hurricane report. We've got an athlete of the week from Newcastle. We'll have a random topic that we will throw in here. We have lined up for you, and then we will bring this to a close with the schedule. But first off, we have athlete of the week, and that is Michael Wells of Newcastle High. He's a senior, 6'4", 218 pounds. Quite a performance on Friday night against Chartiers Valley. 5 carries, 39 yards, and 7 catches for 122 yards. He had a rushing touchdown of 32 yards, and he took a pass 44 yards also for a touchdown. So he counted for 2 touchdowns and a 28-21 home win over Chartiers Valley at Taggart Stadium in a Parkway Conference matchup. Maybe
the most versatile football player in Lawrence County. Michael Wells has an arm like a cannon. I told you, he has a Division I arm. He played quarterback last year and did a tremendous job for the Red Hurricane. He's a fantastic runner with speed and power, and he has great hands. And I think all of that was evidenced this week in the totals that he put up and the statistics that he put up that got him nominated as Athlete of the Week. He had 7 catches for 122 yards. It's about 15 yards a carry, or a catch, if my math is correct. Michael Wells got great size, great hands, great feet. He also ran a touchdown, 32 yards. You know, and he's just a complete football player who played the entire season. I think this is the first game, or maybe the second game that he's played, that he didn't have a cast on his hand. So he's been playing the whole season with one hand. Mm-hmm. If the Red Hurricane are going to make a statement in the playoff run, it's going to be because of Michael Wells and his versatility. You know, he and Chris Hood are the 2 players that Newcastle will depend on most moving forward. But Michael Wells can do a lot of things. Last week, he didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he threw the pass about a 40 or 50-yard strike that set up a touchdown. He has a great arm, great feet, great hands, smart young man. Michael Wells is the real deal. And I think before this season's over, he's probably going to be getting Division I football offers from a bunch of different schools.
Yeah, he's got a couple in so far. I spoke with him on Monday over at Taggart, and you know, it was a funny moment that I had with Joe Coward on the phone Sunday night when I was talking to him for the interview. The roster that we have that was submitted preseason lists Mike Wells as a linebacker. You know, there's no offensive position listed for him, just his height and weight and linebacker. So I said, Coach, what would you classify Mike Wells at? Wide receiver, running back, possibly quarterback, maybe tight end? He says, yes, to all of those. He's an athlete. So, you know, as you mentioned, he's versatile. He can play anywhere on the field for Newcastle.
and he's one heck of a basketball player also.
Yeah.
Mike Wells is a tremendous athlete. Before he completes his basketball career, he has a chance to be the leading scorer in the history of Newcastle basketball, which is pretty impressive. And as I said, he could play 3 or 4 positions for the Newcastle football team. He can be a quarterback, got a great arm. He can be a running back, speed and power. He can be wide receiver because he's got great hands. And we're forgetting that he's probably the best punter in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his punting average is this year, but it's got to be close to 40 yards a kick. Mike Wells is a great athlete, period, can play anywhere, and has this year for the Red Hurricane.
Yeah, I asked both of them. I asked Mike Wells and Joe Coward about the punting. Joe told me, I believe it was the Blackhawk game, the week prior to the Char Valley game. He said he got a 71-yard punt off against Blackhawk. That's impressive. I've covered games where he's had 60-some yarders, 50-some yarders, and there might be a little bit of a roll, maybe a few yards, but I mean, we're talking hang time, we're talking distance. This is legitimate punting. This isn't, low line drive. Oh, it's an ugly punt and it's going to turn out well. These are legitimate punts by Mike Wells.
I think as we move forward, maybe the rest of the year, I don't mean to put more work on you, but we probably should pick a special teams player of the week. We really should, because some of these special teams guys, whether they be punters, whether they be kickers, kick returners, they make a big difference in a football game. And as you like to say, when it gets down to crunch time and we get down to playoff time, those special teams are often the teams that make the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah. And Mike Wells, 47 carries on the year for 243 yards. He's caught 11 passes for 207 yards. So that'll tell you something right there. He's got 11 total receptions this year. 7 of them came against Char Valley. 207 receiving yards, and again, 122 of them came last week against Char Valley. He's got 6.
So he's averaging 20 yards a catch. Now, remember, he started the season with a cast on. He's only in the last game or two has he played being able to use both hands because he broke his hand early in the season. So Mike Wells is the real deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great catching up with Mike Wells. He's been fun to watch playing basketball, certainly football as well. There's one thing I want to touch on real quick with Mike Wells. It was the Mars game. I believe that was his first game back, and they were experimenting with possibly having him on offense that week. And they send him out there, in pregame drills. And Joe Coward said, he wasn't catching anything, and we thought, let's just put him back there at defense. We'll take it easy for this week. We'll put him on defense. I forget what part of the game it was, third quarter maybe. Quarterback for the Planets goes back to pass, and Mike Wells, who couldn't catch the ball in pregame, catches the ball during the game on defense and returns it for a pick 6. A total Mike Wells, athletic play. It just shows who he is. It was. That had to be a great moment for Mike Wells, and it might have shown something extra to Coach Coward. Like, hey, you might want to think about offense next week.
Listen, I might not know a lot about football, right? But I'm gonna tell you one thing I do know: Mike Wells is a football player. You don't need to be Vince Lombardi to know this. Mike Wells is a football player, and he can play various positions. The thing about coaching, and I've said this. I don't care what sport you're coaching, and I know a little bit more about basketball and baseball. You got to get the kids in the right spots. One of the keys to coaching is to get the right players in the right spots that allow them to be successful. And that's going to be, I think, key moving forward for the Red Hurricane. You got to find, the right spot for Mike Wells and give him an opportunity to be a playmaker because he has that kind of ability.
The last thing I will say in regards to Athlete of the Week, while I was up at Taggart Stadium, we had a little bit of fun, Mike Wells and I. This is a cell phone, Larry. And on this cell phone is a little video that we're going to put up on Twitter. It's going to be a fun video. Ralph Blundo and everybody else will enjoy it. Larry, I I welcome you to watch it. You'll have fun.
I absolutely will. I mean, I follow the Newcastle News on Twitter. I know one of the staffers over there at the News. He kind of trolls me, so it's always fun to see what he has up there on the Newcastle News Sports Twitter account. This
was totally my idea, and it'll be posted by the Twitter troll, as you refer to him. So my idea, and it'll be on his hands. The post.
I can't wait to see it.
All right, and we thank Mike Wells for his participation in that, and congratulate him for his award of Athlete of the Week.
There's one thing I learned growing up around here: people should look out for each other, be friends and neighbors that you can count on. So it bothers me when people who are hurt in automobile accidents get bullied by the insurance company. I don't let bullies run over my clients. I do what I was taught growing up: step up, stand up, and speak up for those who can't. I'm Larry Kelly, and I'm a Newcastle guy.
Okay, we're back with you here on Gridiron. Ron Poniewasz joined by Larry Kelly. We have our topic for the week. And Larry, so far we have 5 football teams that have officially punched their ticket to the postseason. In the WPIL, we have Laurel, Mohawk, Neshannock, Shenango. District 10 has Wilmington. I'm sorry, Shenango has yet to punch their ticket. Newcastle. So you got Laurel, Mohawk, Neshannock, Newcastle, and Wilmington in District 10. Shenango is still alive in the Big 7. With a win, Shenango will clinch a playoff berth, and that would make 6 teams out of our 8 for the county. That's pretty impressive. I don't know that we've ever had 6 in one season, Larry.
I still like to believe that Lawrence County is a high school football hotbed, that it's still important that the young men who play the game dedicate themselves to the game practically on a year-round basis. I know the coaches who coach in Lawrence County are great coaches. They have a lot of experience. They've seen the movie before. They know how it ends. So when you add talented young men, dedication to really good coaching, there's a pretty good chance you're going to have playoff teams coming from our county. And I think that's the answer to that question.
Yeah, and it's a shame, we almost had a 7th. When you think about it, Union started off conference play so well. What a big win against Rochester. Playing at home, it was the night that Stacy Robinson got honored for his 25th season of coaching at Union. And then really the bottom just fell out of it. It was COVID, it was injuries, just not having enough people available, your starters, your talent. And you could play good 2 quarters, you could play a good 3 quarters, but it was just that 4th quarter or late 3rd quarter a lot of times. And somewhere along the line it would get them.
Again, it's a numbers game for Union. They don't have a lot of depth. They played this last game without their starting quarterback. And, he is the difference maker for that team, as Stacy actually said in the newspaper. He makes it go, and they played without him. And, I think they scored 1 touchdown and had 94 total offensive yards. So, the thing about football is you need depth, because sooner or later during the season, players are going to be injured. They're going to miss games, and you need people who can step in, who can get the job done. And when you start with numbers that are not equivalent to what your opponents have, and then people get hurt, pretty tough to win games over the course of a season.
Absolutely. Okay, that is going to close us up on our topic for the week. We have one more segment, and we will tell you about the schedule, the upcoming schedule, as teams wrap up the regular season around the county, and we'll do that next, right here on...
As a veteran, I fought for our ideals, that we are a nation of laws, that the laws apply to everyone, and that no one is above the law. So if you've been hurt in an auto accident, I don't think you should be pushed around by some insurance company. Not on my watch. I'll work hard to protect your rights. I'm not afraid to go to trial, and I've never run from a fight. I'm Chuck Garbett, and I'm proud to serve the people of Lawrence County.
We're back with you here on Gridiron to close up Doctober, as we got Friday night, October 29th games. We've got 4 of them, just 4. virtually everybody plays another county team, with the exception of Newcastle, and that's where we'll start. Newcastle 3-1 in the Parkway, 6-3 overall. At Aliquippa, which is 4-0 in the Parkway, 7-1 overall. Larry, if you have anything that you held back from the Red Hurricane report, this is the place to do it.
Well, I'm going to use a big word. You may have to look this up, but this game will be a portent of things to come for the Newcastle Red Hurricane football team, and in particular, their playoff run.
Right.
This game will be a portent of what kind of run we can make in the playoffs moving forward.
Sure. Keys to victory, if there's one, if I can limit you to one, and there's plenty of them out there, what would one be?
Eliminate big plays. Aliquippa is a team that oftentimes will return a kick for a touchdown. They've done that against Newcastle in years past. Or, break a 3rd and 1 play, 75 yards for a touchdown. I'd say the key is eliminate big plays. Maintain your defensive discipline. Keep the containment. And if they are going to score, make them drive the ball down the field.
Mine would be eliminate, not limit, eliminate penalties. Eliminate dumb penalties, just pre-snap penalties, anything like that. You can't have free yardage against Aliquippa. When you have X amount of penalties for 85 yards, those are hidden yards that they're just walking off for free. And then when Aliquippa finishes the night with X amount of yards, you pile those on top of it. You're just assisting them right down the field.
I think Newcastle has been doing a better job of that as of late. At least my review of the box scores, they've been doing a better job. So, let's hope that they remain consistent in what they've done the last couple games. And again, I think you have to eliminate the big plays. You can't let them return kickoffs or punts for touchdowns and go on 75-yard touchdown runs. So if they can do that, I like their chances on Friday night.
Okay, Elwood City 0-6, 0-7 overall, 24 games in a row that the Wolverines have lost. At Mohawk, which is 3-3, 4-5. This is a Midwestern Conference matchup. Larry, from what I've read, Mohawk is officially in the playoffs. It has something to do with Gardner points. I think they are tied maybe for 3rd or 4th in the conference with X amount of teams, and they're all 1-1 head-to-head against each other, and they have a good Gardner point standing in terms of that. So they're in.
The win against Neshannock was big because, Neshannock has 7 total wins, and Gardner points are dependent upon wins of your opponent. So that's a big win. And I think Mohawk's getting their quarterback back this week, if I'm not mistaken. And, that's big for them. He plays offense and defense, really good player, and is a difference maker. And they're going to take care of Elwood City on Friday.
Yeah, J.C. Voss was actually there last week and played against Freedom, and they got beat by Freedom by 2 touchdowns. I was shocked in that game because I've watched Freedom up close and was not impressed at all with Freedom. We were both at the game. I think you were in the stands somewhere because you had remarked about it. Freedom was bad that night. I was surprised. I was really surprised that Mohawk got beat by them, especially with J.C. Voss back.
It was a road game, wasn't it? Wasn't the game at Freedom?
It was at Freedom, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, road games are tough. The bus rides, they're tough. And it surprised me, too. I thought Mohawk, you're right, Voss was back last week. I thought having him back would be the difference.
Yeah, and kind of what's going on with Mohawk is they've went from early in the year after they beat Neshannock to thinking, okay, they're gonna have a home playoff game. No, they lost to Beaver Falls. They've lost to Laurel, which everybody's lost to Laurel. They lost to Freedom. To now they've went from a home playoff game to a road playoff game to now they're going to have not the greatest of seeds. But the flip side of the coin is, as you and everybody else know, you can't win a championship if you're not in, and they're in.
Yeah. I mean, the loss against Freedom, I'm sure, is troubling to their coaching staff. Look, you can lose to Laurel. As I said all year, I think Laurel's the best team in Lawrence County. You can lose to Beaver Falls. Beaver Falls is a different Beaver Falls football team in the last several weeks. But losing to Freedom, I'm sure, is troubling the Mohawk, especially with Voss back in the lineup.
Neshannock 4-2 in the conference, Midwestern Conference, 7-2 overall at Laurel, which is 6-0, 9-0, looking for a perfect season. Neshannock standing in their way. Boy, this is a tough one. I think Laurel's gonna get it, but they're not gonna get a lot of resistance from Neshannock. They're gonna put up a fight.
I'm going to tell you something. This is the game of the week in Lawrence County. Coach Mangino, who's a lawyer in my office, we were talking about the game and some of the things that Neshannock is going to try to do to contain Luke McCoy and Kobe DeRosa. Both of these guys are averaging 15 yards a carry last game.
Right.
They don't throw the ball too often, Laurel, but DeRosa and McCoy are both running threats, and nobody has been able to stop that ground game of Laurel all year. Neshannock's going to have to do it. If they can make Laurel put the ball in the air, they got a chance to win the game. Look, this is going to be a close game. This will not be a blowout. This is going to be a football game. It's going to be a great game, great Lawrence County game. The stands will be packed. Both sides will be well represented. Two great coaching staffs, two good teams. This is going to be a great football game on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the first day was of practice or the first day that Neshannock got together for the week, but I don't know what goes on behind closed doors in terms of what they say, but I would not be surprised if Coach Fred Mazzacco said, "Look around, look at everybody in the room, because these are the ones that believe we can win." He's probably going to tell them, "I don't think anybody out there believes that we can win. The hell with everybody out there. We believe we can win." I'm sure that somewhere along the line, that's pretty much the message that he's passing on.
Well, let me let you in on a secret. Larry Kelly believes that Neshannock can win this game.
They're picking them.
You just heard what I said.
Okay. All right. Shenango. This is the county game of the week, part 2. This would be a 1A. Shenango 3-3, 3-5 at Union, 1-5, 3-6. So big 7 matchup. Union's down a little bit the last few weeks, but Shenango needs this one like blood to get into playoffs. Got to have it. Got to win.
They're going to get it. This Union's playing without their quarterback. I don't believe he's back this week, at least based on what I read in the newspaper, what Stacy said, and they're a different team without him in the lineup. So, the Wildcats, they're going to take care of business on Friday.
All right. And Wilmington has a bye in the District 10 playoffs. They will play, I believe it's Northwestern next week. And the winner of that game gets, if memory serves me correctly, the winner of, I'm saying the winner of, I don't think we all know, Farrell plays Greenville, name your score. So we're pretty much believing that Farrell Wilmington in 2 weeks for the District 10 title, Larry Kelly?
Absolutely, yeah. It'll be a better game this time around. But listen, Farrell might be the best team in the state in their classification. They're that good. And but Wilmington will play them tough. You talk about a team that has a culture and a great coaching staff, and I don't see this game being a blowout as the first one was. I'd be surprised. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a great game.
Sure. All right. Very good. That's the amount of information that we have for you this week. Larry, one final time. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say? Does anybody run the ball like Tony Dorsett or anything like that?
I didn't say that running backs are Tony Dorsett. He was one of a kind. I had an opportunity to see that young man play in high school. And he would have played in like 1972 and 73 in high school, those football seasons. And I've never seen anybody like him, ever. And I've seen some great ones through the years. Now, there are some guys that resemble Tony Dorsett, but there's only one TD, only one. And he played at Hopewell, and he played at Pitt. And think of his career. I mean, at Pitt, he was the Heisman Trophy winner. In the National Football League, he's in the Hall of Fame. Great running back.
That's right.